Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Hourlings podcast project. My name is Martin Wilsey and I'm your host. Okay, tonight we're going to be talking about reviews, what they're good for, how to respond to them or not, and places you can find them if you're a reader or a writer. So let's see. First of all, I'm going to ask a question for the room. Why do you personally think reviews are important? Dave, let's start with you.
Okay, a bunch of reasons. I think the number one is that they provide some social proof to a potential buyer that people have actually looked at this book and that it might actually be worth their time. That's probably the biggest one right there.
Jeffrey, what do you think?
Well, honestly, I care about the Amazon algorithms, and reviews populate the Amazon algorithms. They're not the only thing that populates them, but I want my book to be presented up in there. But obviously, someone who's browsing says, this one has 4.4. Maybe. But if it has 2.1, they're probably not going to read it. So, and if they have 5, they're probably not going to read it either, because if you have all 5s, you probably just got your friends to review it.
Jay, what do you think?
Hi, yeah. For me, the most important thing that reviews do is not gauge or measure quality. So I don't really care as much about how many stars, but reviews show that the book is generating activity and discussion. So that's more important.
Social proof again.
Yeah. Social proof. I believe that the reviews themselves play into, they're a big variable in many algorithms on both online, the automated machines that sell books, they take reviews into account, but casual readers as they're browsing through Amazon looking for the next thing. Review counts and things like that can actually be a variable that is important to some readers, not so much for others. I know readers that don't read reviews at all, but they look at the numbers. They look at how many stars it is. I know other readers that go in and they look at the demographics associated with it. How many 5-star, how many 4-star, how many 3-star. And then they'll just go and read the 1-star reviews. Why did this person hate this book? So I find the reviews to be very important. It's really a marketing tool that can be very powerful if used correctly.
I'm sure we'll talk about 1-star reviews later on more.
Yeah.
But I will say that some 1-star reviews can be wildly entertaining.
Yes, they can. We can talk about 1-star reviews right now. My favorite 1-star review, which Amazon deleted for some reason. I love that review, and it simply said, "This book is science fiction. I hate science fiction."
Right.
1-star. And of all the reviews ever that I wanted to reply to, I wanted to reply to that one, and I was going to say, "Hey, thanks for buying my book."
Yeah.
I've gotten my share of 1-star reviews as well for This Is Not a Love Scene. Weirdly, like a handful of them, a good percentage of them, were not really about like the quality of the writing or the plot. It was a little personal. Like they didn't like, my attitude towards this or my whatever towards that. And so, okay, I guess you could have your opinion, but it always kind of bothered me that the 1-star reviews were mostly not focused on the actual book, which is a different issue.
If I ever get one, I'll let you know how I feel about it.
Oh, hey, look at that. David has, yes, a better 1-star record than we do, Marty.
No, I will say this. I mean, it's not my story, but a good friend of mine, Libby Klein, she publishes, under, I think, Macmillan, Cozy Mysteries, Libby Klein, the Poppy series. And one of her reviews for her first book, if I recall, was that your African-American characters are so stereotypical. The reader didn't realize that Libby had 3, I believe, 2 or 3 African-American characters, and they didn't comment on the other ones that were not stereotypical. So, I mean, sometimes you just like smack your head. They're not reading your book correctly.
But mostly, I would say don't read the 1-star reviews. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you have, Skin of Steel, and maybe if you can laugh like a pirate, to the bank while you read them. Okay, if you can do that, more power to you. But I would suggest to our writer listeners, just ignore them. Don't read them. Don't
Yeah,
open
in
up.
fact, I'll echo that too. I don't read my reviews. It's funny. My wife reads them. She is highly amused by them. And she tries to figure out, did this person read the book?
I like looking at my reviews, maybe because I don't have as many of them as you guys. But it doesn't really bother me, I think, what they say. I just like having a decent number of reviews. I would be concerned if they were all ones, and I'd be looking to see why. But
You should be concerned if they're all ones. And
Oh,
in
yeah.
fact, that should have been revealed in your beta reader phase. The feedback from your beta readers, if you had good beta readers, which would be, dude, let's talk. And that, I think, beta readers is one of the powerful things that keeps you from, writing a book that really sucks. I think that if you have good beta readers, they will ensure that you actually get a decent showing.
well,
Yeah.
somebody to tell you that the book's not ready for prime time yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So to summarize that, we don't mean to say don't read the 1-star reviews to translate into don't be concerned if you have mostly 1-star reviews. That's that's different. I agree with Marty. You're gonna get, if you're getting some 5-star, some 4-star, or whatever, and there's a good balance, that's fine. Don't worry about the 1-stars. But if you are consistently getting 1 and 2 stars, that might be a red flag that there's time to go back to the drawing board and see what you can adjust.
Right. I mean, I go back to the average. I mean, like I say, if you've got a 5 average, you're probably not getting much benefit from the reviews because people are probably just giving you, this was great, although you can read them. And maybe if you want an ego boost, you do read them. But if it's 4.8, like one of the anthologies that I was published in is at 4.8. One 4-star, and the rest are 5 stars. That's kind of legit. And
Yeah,
again,
I think that is important. If you see a good spread, when I review books, I very rarely ever will give a 5-star review. 4 stars, an excellent book as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
5 stars, kind of a perfect book. I love getting 5-star reviews, but I just as much love getting 4-star reviews.
So to Jeffrey's point, I think what you're saying, Jeffrey, is that when you see a book on Amazon and it's 100% 5-star reviews, and maybe there are 15 of them, then you're saying that might not be very authentic. So sometimes it's good to have a 3 or a 4-star in there to show that it's not just friends and family doing the reviews.
But I also don't really believe the 1-star reviews either.
That's true.
I tend to like to read like maybe a few 4 stars and a couple 1-star reviews if a book has enough reviews. And the 4 stars will usually tell me, hey, I enjoyed this book, but it had a couple issues, and I can evaluate those issues for myself. And the 1 stars, most of the time, are somebody who just didn't understand the genre or didn't like science fiction or just has an issue with some kind of social item in the book,
Right.
ethnicity or politics or religion or something.
Right.
Yeah, there's this famous story that Marco Cluse tells about his 1-star review, and the reader was pissed off that it wasn't breakfast sausage. It had nothing to do with the book.
Right.
They ordered the book, and
Thinking it
they
was
thought they
breakfast
ordered
sausage.
breakfast sausage, and were angry that they got a book instead.
That's fair.
Right. Right.
I don't blame him for that 1-star review, frankly. I would prefer breakfast sausage.
Yeah.
So for me, it's really the
We're not
percentage.
going to introduce you to Marcos anytime soon.
Moving on, the percentage of 5-star and 4-star or whatever, I think going back to our original points in the opening of this episode, are less important than the quantity of how many reviews there are itself.
Yes.
For me, on like Amazon or Goodreads or whatever, when I see between like maybe 40 and 50 reviews for a book, I'm like, okay, that's a pretty, you know, that's a legit talked about book. So that is more, and that's why you see authors giving out ARCs, advanced reader copies, which is like a free copy of the book, and in exchange you give an honest review. In that situation, I think the author doesn't really care as much if you give it 3, 4, or 5 star. They're just looking to generate that discussion and that quantity of content. So I am all for the ARC. What do you guys think about the ARC?
Oh, I love ARCs. And I use them with both. Now they make it really easy to do it with Kindle as well as Audible. Audible actually provides a quantity of free editions of their Audible editions so that you can provide it to ARC readers for no cost. And I find that to be a very useful thing and a very great tool.
There's also services like Book Funnel is something I've signed up to that allows you to distribute and even include watermarks if you want to, but you can distribute ARCs in a whole bunch of different formats. And the nice thing about it is you don't have to do any of the customer support when it comes to figuring out how to get a Kindle cross-loaded onto a Kindle device or anything like that.
I have a question, and I really don't know the answer to it, so I'm asking you guys. Other than friends and family, obviously, and offering to give someone a free book in exchange for a review, how can writers get more reviews for their books? That's really it?
Well, first off, write a book that doesn't suck, and you'll sell more books and get more reviews. Second, a technique that I use, Amazon makes available a promotional program where for once a quarter you can give away a book for free for 5 days. I find that to be a very useful tool to get your books in the hands of a lot of people, and more people you get it in the hands of, the more reviews you get. Now, the interesting thing about the population that downloads free editions, it's fairly interesting because people that read free books usually never buy books ever. So it's counterintuitive. You give your book away for free in order to sell more books. And it's very interesting premise for that. So that's how I really generate a lot of reviews.
Well, I also include a call to action at the end of my books. So if you finish one of my ebooks, the very next thing you see is, please leave a review on your retailer of choice. Right?
The thing is,
I just ask for a review.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is you can do things on Goodreads and do a giveaway. And on the Goodreads giveaways, you can sort of say, please, you can't really force them, but you can say, please leave a review afterwards.
Yeah. Let's talk about for a second a few of say the top 3 places where we get reviews. For me personally, it's Amazon. The Amazon links page. Audible. I get more reviews on Audible. I don't know why people tend to do reviews. And Goodreads. Those are my 3 biggies. There's a few other scattered ones. Plus, there's bloggers in the universe that read books and do blog posts, and those kind of fall into 2 categories. Some require a fee in order to review your book, as well as a free copy. But there's a lot of readers out there that blog about the books they love and do it for free. So I guess I can. As an example, for instance, my book Still Falling, it's one of my books. On Amazon, it's got 75 reviews. On Goodreads, it's got 113 reviews. And as of today on Audible, it's got 237 reviews.
That's fantastic.
And the thing is that those reviews in those places, those readers are all completely independent of each other.
That's great.
And there's not a crossover for the reviews. It's not like you post one on Amazon, it gets posted on Goodreads, it gets posted on Audible, which is interesting because the Amazon link to the page where it lists the Kindle edition, the paperback edition, the hardcover edition, and the Audible edition, they're all linked together on the purchase page so that all of those editions can be associated with the reviews, except Audible. Audible is still separate. They have their own review database.
No, I think that's right, though. I mean, in terms of which platforms, I would agree that Audible, Amazon, and Goodreads, until Audible merges with Amazon, which they own the company.
Well, actually, I don't think that they should merge.
Yeah, I don't think so either,
It's a
because
different kind of media.
you also rate the performance of the narrator,
Mhm.
which is a completely separate radio button that doesn't exist elsewhere.
Right, but on the Audible, because I've done Audible reviews, and I will rate the performer separately from the content of the book, they provide that ability to do so. So you'd think just the textual review could be okay, just not the performance review. But yeah.
Yeah, just as a side note, if you love reading and you like a particular author, you have no idea how important doing a review for that author is.
Mm-hmm.
It is very
It's fun.
encouraging. It helps them. If you want to keep enjoying their books, give them a review. It's the best way to thank them for the book that you just read that you enjoyed.
So your favorite starving author?
And that's also why, and I'm all for honesty. So if you really hate something, whatever. But I even if I don't like a book, that's why I really hesitate to go on and rip it or, do a 1-star review, especially if it's not a huge celebrity author,
Yeah, the interesting thing is if I read a book and I really do think it sucks, that happens very infrequently. I just won't do a review. I
Right,
may
I could understand
email the author to say, hey, dude, you may want to, think about blah, 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 whatever it is that made me not like it. But the one thing that will get me to do a 1-star review is if the author is a legit asshole about something. If, there's just, I've got some hot buttons that I just don't like. And if they're,
So
if
I've
they
only
piss me
ever
off, if they piss me off, I might give them a worse review.
I've
But only if the book sucks.
I've only left one star review in my life, and it wasn't for a book. As an author who also reviews under my own name, I don't tend to say bad things about other authors.
Yeah.
I'll say
Right.
good things
In fact,
if the book warrants it, but I won't post a bad review. I just won't review.
Yeah, I think in every book
in fact,
review I've
as an
ever
author, I have stopped reviewing books on my blog, for instance. I used to do that in great detail. So I don't do that anymore because, I don't want to piss on somebody else's picnic. And I've had revenge reviews in the past, and I just don't want to play that game anymore. So
As an author, I think it's, the rule is with other authors, do no harm.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, I mean,
I don't think I've ever left a 1-star review for anything, honestly.
well, I mean, I probably have left 1-star reviews for certain things, but as far as authors are concerned, no, I never less than 3. I would really have to dislike a book to give them 2, and I've never given a book 2. But 3s, yeah, if I was like, and 4 if I liked it, and 5 I do give some 5s for like, damn fine book.
Yeah, for me on the blog, it's I've started to do like recommended reading. where I can say these things are good. You should think about checking them out, and that saves me from having to go, I read this book and I didn't like it, or anything like that.
Well, I periodically do what's Marty reading. You know, I get books all the time. I rotate through like classic books that I read on vacation. I go through indie authors. I just got this from an indie author that I met recently, and so I enjoy going around the universe about stuff with books. But it's more like, what's Marty reading? He's reading this.
Yeah. Well, and also there's sort of, if I do read a good book, I'd like to see that author do well.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
You know, and I'd like to think that the universe has a sense of fairness to it, and will return the favor if I write a good book. But we'll see.
Yep. So the last thing I wanted to mention is something that I have in fact seen in the news in the last couple of weeks. They're calling them dog piles, where, you know, that's the game when you're a kid, everybody jumps on one kid. Everybody's gotten their ribs crushed with that. Well, maybe not Shay, but you know.
Hey, you never know. I would be a pretty hard one to dogpile on someone else, wouldn't I?
That's right. That's right.
The 300-pound chair.
Anyway, just to explain what it is, there's two different kinds. There's a dog pile where, you know, all these people are getting angry about something. You know how the internet is. You can get people spun up because somebody drives a Ford instead of a Chevy, and they'll get together on a forum somewhere and go out and say, okay, everybody go out and give this author a 1-star review. And that had been pretty happening with several authors to a great negative effect. Other places, authors were going out and actually buying hundreds of reviews, associating them with their book to try to boost their popularity up by people saying, oh, geez, it's got 540 reviews that are all 4 or 5 stars. That's awesome. And both of those things are now being fought by both Goodreads and Amazon with their algorithms, for instance. Amazon changed the way that you can do reviews so that you have to be a verified purchaser, and you can't even leave a review unless you're logged into your account and you spend more than $50 a year on Amazon. They made it a lot harder to imposter, you know, to do the clickbait. What'd you call it, Dave? You used a great word. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, now I've forgotten.
Yeah, well, anyway. So they made it a lot harder to buy reviews, and they've also made it really hard for people to leave negative reviews that have not actually purchased the book or not read the book. So so that's all good. That's good news in both ways, because them not being legit is not fair for other authors, and it's not fair for somebody that gets dogpiled on for bad reasons. Hey, guys, got any comments about that?
Just that I don't even think that if you succeeded in, you know, I don't know, dogpiling reviews for your book, I don't even think it's that helpful. Like, even if you were able to do it, I still think that, you know, people will read it and then they'll leave a 1-star review because they'll be like, well, what's with all these 5-star reviews? And it just, like, I don't think it's even that helpful. So I'm not judging personally. I'm not judging, nor do I have like a strong, like, ethical opinion about it. But I just, I don't think it's helpful. And I think the most helpful thing you can do, as Marty said, is just to improve your book and try to get natural reviews.
Well, I mean, you will still have these, what I might call review terrorists that are both dogpile on you. I mean, think about this. You may, let's say you just have a tweet that you didn't realize was in bad taste because you phrased it badly. Just an honest mistake. And then they dogpile on you. And then they find out you're an author. And then they dogpile reviews. That could all happen. I mean, that's the way our world is right now.
I just don't use Twitter. Like I am not about that anymore.
Well, I don't blame you, but I
Twitter
mean, it's the
anymore.
cancel culture that I'm getting at. And people doing dogpiling because of cancel culture, I mean, it's a scary
Yeah,
thing.
it's a form of cancel culture. I mean,
It
and
is,
we're
yeah.
not trying to host the Oscars, you know.
No.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it because of social issues. I've even seen it for silly things like, for whatever reason, there's a whole group of people out there that hate the movie Titanic, and so they go over to the Internet Movie Database and they leave nothing but 1-star reviews.
Right?
The
They just
difference
don't like
is
the
that
film.
James Cameron is not going to be as affected by that as
No.
any four of us
Well, no.
who are not James Cameron. You know what I mean?
Right.
See, and
So
that's
it's
the
even-
thing. It's a big difference if people try to dogpile on like Larry Correa because of his politics that he talks about on Facebook. You know, he's well armored against that. But somebody that's just at the beginning of their career that
Yeah,
right.
you know, can't sustain that kind of action, you know, they can't
exactly.
just shrug it off as easily.
Yeah.
So, anybody else got anything to add before we close this ship down?
Well, I'll just say that in terms of dogpiling, I mean, the best you can do is complain to the platform, complain to Amazon, complain to Goodreads. And obviously they're trying to prevent that, making them aware of that if it's still happening may help. It does not always work, but may help.
I just want to kind of reiterate something that Marty said earlier, which is reviews are important to writers. If you have a chance, please leave reviews. They count not only for social proof, but they trigger Amazon's algorithms so that the book sells better and is recommended to other people more effectively. And then a certain number of reviews are often a threshold that you have to pass to use other promotional opportunities like BookBub or book funnel promotions or things like that. So they are important for authors for a lot of other reasons as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
to add to Dave's note, when you leave a review for a specific book, not only do they analyze the book that you reviewed, but they analyze the reviewer. They will say, oh, this guy just left a review for Martin Wilsey's book. He also reviewed Andy Weir's book. So the recommendation ribbon at the bottom will start recommending, you know, Martin Wilsey's book with Andy Weir's books and vice versa. It's actually a powerful thing under the hood. So please review the authors whose books you enjoy.
And my final comment would be, I am in full support of people who are able to, you know, live their truth and write what they want to write and not worry about what other people think. And so I encourage you to keep doing that. At the same time, it's just an unfortunate reality of being an author that a lot of things depend on what other people think in our careers and our success. So just work with it. You know, try not to take it personally. Just figure out how to work with it. And reviews can be used to your favor.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, guys, another great show. I enjoyed it, and I think that's it. And we will see you again next week.
Another finely structured episode, guys.
Thanks for stopping in.